Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
You're watching WCSD from Calloway County High School.
Everyone has some sort of idea what the Murray State Band sounds like. That's probably the marching band, actually. But that's simply one version of the band. My name is Logan Bogard, and today I have with me Dr. Todd Hill, Director of Jazz Studies at MSU. Hey, Dr. Hill, how are you today?
I'm doing good, Logan. Good to be here.
All right. So, what is it that you do for Murray State's music department?
Well, a little bit of everything. I'm the Director of Jazz Studies, which means I've got 6 different ensembles that I direct: the Jazz Orchestra, the Jazz Band, the Jazz Lab Band, and then the Blue, Gold, and White Jazz Combos. But I also teach for the Music Business Program, where I teach musicianship to those students, and then also teach sometimes for the Honors College, different subjects. But then I sort of serve as an all-around assistant within the band area. That's mostly volunteer, but I work with the Racer Band. I sometimes work with the Symphonic Band, the Wind Ensemble, sometimes the Symphony Orchestra, and then also with the Town and Gown Community Band.
All right. You mentioned the Town and Gown Community Band. What is this?
Well, that is an organization that is there to help foster the connectionalism between Murray State and Murray and Calloway County, the community. The community band is formed of about 100 to 120 people in the summertime, and we have about 40 community adults, about 30 high school students that have 15 years old and have made an all-district or all-state concert group of some sort, and then about 30 Murray State University students that are around during the summer and don't want to lose their chops while they're there, not having band every day. But that group meets for 3 weeks, and then it'll perform a concert. It has 3 rehearsals and then does 2 concerts in the summertime, and does 1 in the winter for the community Christmas concert.
Nice, very nice. What are the dates for these concerts?
Well, for the 2016 season, our dates coming up are June 7th, that's Tuesday night at 7 o'clock p.m. on the Quad in front of Lovett Auditorium. And that's always one of my favorite places for a concert because everybody can just bring their chairs and pull up and enjoy that. And then on July 4th for Freedom Fest, that's always a huge program. 1,200 to 1,500 people attend that in Lovett Auditorium, and it's really a lot of fun because we have about 200 people on stage making music between the band and the community chorus, and then everybody in the auditorium sings along with the Star Spangled Banner and stuff like that. It's a really neat effect.
1,200 to 1,500 people.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Didn't think that Lovett could hold that much.
Oh, Lovett can hold about 2,600, actually. When Lovett Auditorium, there's an interesting fact. When Lovett Auditorium was constructed, that was the biggest unsupported mass of ceiling, of open ceiling, west of the Allegheny Mountains. So it was a really big deal when Lovett Auditorium was built. It was a huge thing because at that time you could put the entire town of Murray and the student body at Murray State Normal School at the time in there at one time. Pretty neat.
Yeah, that is. I actually think that we have a clip of the concert that you guys had on the Quad in front of Lovett.
That's correct. This is from the first movement of Holt's Suite in F.
All right. So, do you mind telling us about this?
Oh, not at all. So this is only 3 rehearsals in, and here we are doing a concert. It's kind of neat that we would go after things that quickly. It's a lot of fun to do it, and there's never a chance for anybody to get bored. But then again, that's why you have to have people that sight read music at a very high level to be able to pull that off.
Yeah, let's just sit back and listen to this for a second.
Sure. You know, Logan, there are a lot of There are a lot of Callaway graduates in that group and several Callaway students.
I can
as
actually
well.
see a few myself right now.
And our band director here at Callaway, Dr. Jones.
Yeah. So, tell me about Freedom Fest.
Freedom Fest, the Freedom Fest concert, it's just part of the whole weekend of Freedom Fest, where we've got things. Now, what they have done is actually begun to move, for many years, Freedom Fest concert and the 4th of July fireworks would fall on whatever weekend it was around it. But now they have made the move, and I think wisely so, to go with the actual 4th of July. So that makes it a little easier in planning for me, for my summer vacations and stuff like that, so I can work around that. But it's always a terrific time. Of course, the whole Freedom Fest is a wonderful event for the city and the county.
Oh, yes. I would know that for a fact. I've been to one before.
Right.
I'm not sure which one it was, but it sounded great. I'm not going to lie.
It's a nice thing, and it's amazing how quickly all those musicians pull together and make something really good.
I know how quickly it can be pulled together because this past winter I was actually in the Town and Gown Community Band.
While Dr. Jones was subbing for me,
Yeah.
I was very happy to have him to be able to do that. I had just had some medical problems, and Dr. Jones was able to step in for me and do that, and did a wonderful, wonderful job with the band.
I can agree with that. So, what events does the MSU band in general participate in?
When you're talking about the MSU band, I mean, there's of course the Racer Marching Band, which everybody sees.
Everyone hears
so
that.
Football games and basketball games with the Racer Band folks. But then the Symphonic Wind Ensemble performs at least 2 concerts a year on campus. The Symphonic Band does the same thing. And then we've got the Symphony Orchestra that does the same thing. And then the jazz bands perform at all sort of things. And we host, of course, the Festival of Champions in the fall for all the regional marching bands. And then we host the Quad State Band Festival, the middle school festivals in November, the senior high band festivals in February. Plus, we have the MSU Jazz Festival coming up first weekend in April this year, April 1st and 2nd. So we've got a lot of things for a lot of folks to do any given time.
You mentioned Quad State. That's actually coming up really soon, isn't it?
This weekend is the Quad State Band Festival, and we've got people from Tennessee, Kentucky, Missouri, Illinois, and sometimes we even get a few from Indiana as well. I think we've got some Indiana, so we're not going to rename it Quint State or anything, but it is a great event, and it brings all these people together to play. But it also gives us a great chance to show off the music department at Murray State and what we can offer to students who are going to be a music major, and for that matter, people who are not going to be a music major. I think one of the biggest points of confusion for any entering college freshman is, do I have to be a music major to be in the band? The answer is absolutely not. A lot of the people in the jazz orchestra, which is, our premier thing within the jazz program anyway, they're non-majors, engineering majors and everything else. It's wonderful to have them participating. And I think it gives a little more campus balance to the organization. 70% of the Racer Band is non-majors. So that's a huge number.
70%?
70% are non-majors. Of course, the Racer Band runs between 250 and 300 people every year. So, we've got a total of 250 music majors, but they won't all be in marching band.
Well, yeah, I can
Certainly.
understand that.
Okay, what do I do?
Let's actually talk about your daily schedule. What's a typical day like for you?
A typical day would be like today, which was really kind of unusual. Well, it's not unusual. I think some people would probably find it shocking that a college professor is teaching classes at 7 a.m. But I do that because a lot of times that's when I can meet with my students. For example, the jazz combos, often because those students are in their junior and senior year, they're already filled up with their schedules. So we sometimes meet at 7 and 7:30 in the morning to have those groups, and it's just a sacrifice they're willing to make, and of course I'm willing to go along with that. Some days I'll start at 7 o'clock, some nights I'll end at 9. It just depends on what I'm doing. I teach the 3 big bands and the 3 combos for the jazz program, but then I also have a class that I teach for the music business program, and that's at 12:30 on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. These groups meet at all different sorts of hours, during the time. And plus I also coordinate the recitals for the music majors, and that's a lot of fun to do that.
Excuse me.
That's right.
The jazz bands.
Mm-hmm.
What events do they go to?
Well, there are several things that we do in town. Of course, we have our own concert schedule. We'll sometimes do different things for different private events people will call us about. One of the things that the Jazz Orchestra does is now, we have started that this year, it was such a big hit, playing a homecoming dance on the campus for alums, and particularly music alums, but anybody's invited, on the night before homecoming on Friday evening. And that group can play up to 3 hours worth of swing band music, and that's what we do for that event. The Jazz Orchestra has traveled to several major jazz festivals in addition to doing our own, the Jamie Aebersold Jazz Festival here at Murray State. But we have traveled to the Elmhurst College Jazz Festival and been awarded some big titles up there, and that's very nice. And then last year, we were invited to perform at the 2014 Midwest Band and Orchestra Clinic in Chicago, which is a huge, huge honor. And as a result of that, we ended up cutting a new album, which is available on Mark Records, called "Why We Can Have Nice Things," and it's a great tribute to those students that really worked very hard to get that sort of an honor. That's a huge thing. You don't get asked to do that very often.
I bet that really is a huge honor.
It is. Only 2 college jazz bands in America were asked to do it, so that's pretty good. I think we're in good shape.
Oh, I think so too. If only 2 colleges were asked to do that.
Right.
So does this make MSU's jazz department top of the line?
Oh yes, absolutely. We are not a degree offering program because I want my students to be able to get jobs when they get out. I want them to be music educators, and so we don't have a performance degree in jazz studies, nor do I want one, nor do I seek one. But it's good for the students to be able to, have all their music education courses and things like that, or whatever they're doing, and just to be able to participate and learn a lot about it along the way. I mean, jazz is America's music. It's the one thing we've donated to the world culture.
That is very true. So, how exactly did you get to Murray State?
Well, I got to Murray State because I came here as a student. I started at Murray State in the fall of 1982, and I was in racer band and jazz band and all that sort of thing going through. I wanted to be a band director, and I got my music education degree in the spring of 1987 and sat out teaching at Milan, Tennessee, a little high school that sat on the side of the L&N Railroad track on one side and Cotton Patch on the other. And people here at Calloway would all know Dr. Derek Jones. He was in my first high school band when I started teaching. Marvelous musician, and you're very lucky to have him here in Murray.
Oh, yes. Everything that he knows, has he learned from you?
Certainly not. I've learned a lot from him, actually, but that's the way it goes with really strong musicians and teachers alike. You don't just learn from one person, you learn from a myriad of people, and then you really, if you have a good student-teacher relationship, you're going to learn from your students as well.
I can tell that you guys have a good student-teacher relationship.
Certainly. We've been working together professionally for well over 25 years now, playing together, right, in some professional groups.
I've actually only heard you both play at the same time maybe once. That was when the middle school actually went to the KMEA conference.
Right.
I was a part of that as a freshman.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah. He took his tenor sax and you played piano.
Yeah.
That was an amazing performance, honestly.
Well,
I wish that we had a clip of that.
Well, that's too bad we don't, but that's what Dr. Jones and I do all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, how do those
You
go?
learn something new every day,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, true.
Right.
How did those typically go?
A lot of fun. We've got the groups work under my name, the Todd Hill Quintet, and then Todd Hill and his orchestra. Dr. Jones is the lead sax for Todd Hill and his orchestra,
I'd hope
and
so.
he is the tenor sax for the quintet. And he plays at a wonderfully professional level. Could be playing in any professional organization anywhere in the country. But we've got several albums out and all that sort of thing. He's a marvelous musician. But we have that sort of interplay that only comes when you've been playing together for that many years.
Yeah, at the KMEA conference, I could really tell that.
Yeah, a lot of that. And our regular drummer, Dean Hughes from Princeton, was in on that too, if you remember. Yeah.
That was a great performance
It was
as
a lot
well.
of fun. It was a lot of fun. And really speaks very highly of the program the band program here at Callaway for the mid-school to have been doing that. That was a wonderful, wonderful thing for Dr. Jones and for Mr. Suter, who heads up the middle school program.
Yeah. So there are several events that the fraternity and the sorority that they do.
Speaking of Phi Mu Alpha and Sigma Alpha Iota.
Yeah.
Both of those groups, the Phi Mu Alpha, the male music fraternity, and Sigma Alpha Iota, and I do say the female music fraternity because they are not officially classified as a sorority because they are a professional organization. They sponsor Campus Lights, the annual musical, and the SAI sponsors the All Campus Sing, which everybody knows about, big famous event that takes place every spring. So those organizations are terrific. They're great for the students. They're very involved with all the activities of the music department, and we're really proud of them.
I can tell. So do you do anything else for the community?
Sure.
Music-wise, I mean. Yeah.
Music-wise?
Yeah.
Well, I think my biggest contribution to the community music-wise is doing the Town and Gown program. Not in Callaway County, but I serve as the pianist and organist at Benton First United Methodist Church, so I drive to Marshall County every Sunday morning. But as far as that goes, I also work with the music in the Rotary Club here in Murray, and we have a lot of community projects going on. One of the biggest ones right now is the new band shell for the Rotary Amphitheater. Actually, the covering that'll be on that in the Murray-Callaway County Park. Really going to be nice, and a place that the Town and Gown Band will eventually be playing.
I can't wait for that.
Sure.
I know that you work with the high school here as well.
Sure. I do that for a lot of the schools. I like to go out and assist them and give them help, with whatever they need to do. It's part of my job. It also, I think, keeps me connected to the community, but keeps me connected with young people when I'm out there doing that more and more, because I'm always trying to model for the teachers and the people who are becoming teachers through the university's music education program.
All right. Thank you for coming out, Dr. Hill.
Happy to be here.
That is all the time that we have for this show, and join us next time for the next edition of Callaway Connections.
There you go.